also what we do with it. So, number 3, do not manipulate AI. Number 4,
what do you mean don't?
We're never going to get anywhere. So
Yeah,
that's right. I know exactly. I knew it was going to happen. So don't manipulate. I want to know though. So don't manipulate it. In other words, don't do things with it to manipulate other people. Or are you thinking? Because if I manipulate my child, I'm manipulating an agent, right? You're not thinking of AI.
I'm talking about both. I'm talking about do not use it to manipulate. There's persuasion, which is one thing.
Right.
But manipulation is about persuasion with hidden intent. So don't manipulate people with AI, but also don't manipulate the AI itself. And what I mean by that is, for example, you guys, and this is what I think, and again, Andrew has actually worked at OpenAI, so I feel like an outsider making this comment, but some of you may have heard that there was something an update that happened to the model with ChatGPT that made it slightly sycophantic. And the market responded, it became a news story on X, and what ended up happening was, the way it was reported, was the engineers at OpenAI discovered that people stayed interacting with ChatGPT, especially when it provided positive responses. Great, what a wonderful metric, excellent metric. But of course, that metric, we just want to make it better. So they introduced a new prompt to kind of tweak the model, and it ended up becoming more sycophantic. And people were making jokes about putting in, I want to join a cult, and ChatGPT saying, okay, great.
So
one sec.
Okay, well,
so just one
it's
sec.
a nice story.
Just one sec. So, but this is what people are hearing about. And
I can tell you the names of the people involved.
Right, but what I'm saying is the market responded, and my feeling is, for one of the commandments is to allow AI to improve. And if they had just allowed the AI to kind of learn and continue to interact without actually making a change, this may not have happened. So I can keep going, but
Can I tell you what actually happened?
Go ahead. Absolutely.
yeah, I'd love to hear it. I would love to hear it.
So the head of model behavior is Joanne James. She's a friend of mine. You'd really like her. She's very interested in as OpenAI. They want these things to not try to indoctrinate you or push you into anything else. Because you're right, once that happens, you're aware of it, you will go use something else. And things that are sycophantic can appeal to you to a point where there's a problem. Any of you see the thumbs up, thumbs down whenever you get a response, whenever you use ChatGPT? Okay, well, it turns out that certain kinds of responses that flattered people, guess what? People gave that a lot of thumbs up. They like that. They like the flatter. It wasn't a manipulation to try to get people to try to use it longer, because actually, if you pay your subscription, you use it a shorter amount of time, they make more money because inference costs money. It was purely driven by people saying, I like this response, I don't like this response. The problem was, you're only looking at small examples. They were only looking at a small group of examples where people would say, I like this, not going over longer conversations and finding out. There was no, hey, it's sycophantic, it's this, whatever. They pushed out the model release. Within 24 hours, they got the feedback, and Joanne Jang went on X and said, hey, listen, this is exactly what happened. This is the whole story here, and this is how we're trying to improve it. Thank you for your feedback. It wasn't a manipulative thing. It was sincerely based upon user feedback, but that would be an example where people were saying, we want this, and it's like, based on the way we look at that sample, turns out, no, we need to figure out how to test it longer.
Yeah, so I mean, the reason I wanted you to elaborate a bit on these commandments is because when I read them, my sense is that the same perennial moral principles hold, and there's no new moral principles relevant here. It's still the same stuff. Don't use AI to kill people, right? To torture people, to enslave people, to rape, to defraud. All the perennial principles still apply to this. This is George's point a minute ago, is that you can use these technologies to commit all the traditional sins. And I guess that's at least my sense. Those are the things I'm worried about is the things that people do with really powerful tools, which is always the sort of thing to worry about. So we only have 4 minutes. That was a very good interaction. We could do this with all 11 commandments if they'd given us enough time. But I'd like to end with each of you telling me, first, what are you surprised about in AI, like where we are? And I'll say for me, I am surprised that the chatbots got so good before long-haul trucking was self-driving. I would have predicted the opposite. I would have expected Tesla self-driving long-haul trucks years before what we're getting with natural language in the chatbot. So that's my surprise. Christina, how about you?
So my surprise is the transformation that's actually happening with a lot of people who are using AI, and that actually brings me a lot of hope. And I do believe that having a shared language with regards to what's good and positive and gives us progress is really important and critical right now.
George, what are you surprised? Or are you not? You're the prognosticator, so maybe you're not surprised.
My surprise was that Elon Musk became the first person to do wafer scale, really. He calls them tile computers, and he found that the existing system didn't work well enough for his self-driving technology, and they adopted this Dojo computer, which is based on wafer scale tiles that ultimately are the most advanced computers in the world, and it emerged from the self-driving car challenge rather than from
material science or something else, right?
what?
Material science or something like
Yeah.
that. I mean, the fact that Musk is possible, to me, is the best sign that we still have at least partially functioning economy, right? That he's been able to do what he's been able to do. So Andrew, in this out here.
I think just seeing the rate of adoption, that's the thing that's always surprises me. I remember sitting in a meeting, we talked about a low-key research preview, which was just an updated version of GP 3.5, and that was in November of 3 years ago, and then ChatGPT, that's what it was, and then seeing how quickly people made use of this tool once it was in a format they could understand, and once they could figure out how they wanted to utilize it. And that's been hard. I talk to students who use it to learn about, help them augment their learning from real human teachers, like listen to people who talk to it so they can figure out what questions to ask their doctors. To think we'd be here this quickly was sort of surprising to me, the wide-scale adoption.
Yeah, that it's just integrated almost immediately. You gave us 54 seconds, so I'm going to do a follow-up. What do you expect to happen with the chatbots? Where would you expect this to be 5 years?
We're at the point now where I know researchers are using it to ask really good questions, and deep research, if you haven't tried that, it basically lets the AI go through it and ask a question and follow-up questions go through there. I think in the next 5 years, we're going to start hearing about medical cures, new technologies. I work with companies who are trying to develop new forms of photovoltaics, etc. I think we're going to start seeing a real positive impact when it comes to health outcomes and a lot of other things there. I think we're going to see stupid stuff too. To your point about manipulation, influence, and things like this, there's an opportunity for misuse with AI for that. We have to be vigilant about that. And I think I agree largely with everything you said about that. So I think there's going to be a great capacity for the capabilities are going to be in scientific research.
It's the opposite of AGI. It's specialized technologies developed from the.
As long as it gets us the things we want.
These medical things aren't general AI, they are specialized AI. And I predict that the greatest impact will come from
The
specialized applications rather than this AGI delusion.
Yeah, on the ship and sea. All right, we're out of time. Christina, George, Andrew, thank you so much. Please join me.